Guys, the word Orwellian springs up pretty often from time to time. And I believe the most Orwellian thing I have ever experienced with my own eyes has just happened today. I guess maybe some yesterday too. But I was actually talking to a friend of mine today, and he's never seen 1984. He's never read the book. He is a little bit younger than me, so I can cut him some slack there. But this is a book that we read in high school. I remember it, and I've seen the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I watched it not that long ago. And in the movie, the whole premise is that history and the news and truth gets edited to match whatever narrative is happening at that moment. And that is what happened just now. Now, am I crazy? Are we living in some kind of a Mandela effect where some of us remember Kamala Harris being appointed the unofficial title of border czar, or did that just never happen? Well, in fact, it did happen. Kamala Harris has been in charge of the border, and she has done nothing but make it worse. She is responsible for the invasion of our country. She is responsible for every rape and murder that has happened on American soil by these invaders. And they're trying to say that it was never her responsibility, when in fact it was. Look at this. Vice President Kamala Harris, VP, at POTUS asked me, Kamala Harris, to lead our diplomatic work with Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to address the situation at the southern border. We have to address the root cause of migration. It won't be easy work, but it's necessary. That sounds like something somebody in charge of the border would say. Let's scroll down. What we got here? Biden taps VP Harris to lead response to border challenges. President Joe Biden has tapped Vice President Kamala Harris to lead the White House effort to tackle the migration. That sounds like it might have been her responsibility. And now look, just today, 7 minutes ago, probably longer at the time of recording, but right here, Kamala Harris was never Biden's border czar. Here's what she really did. Okay, this is just a screenshot. It doesn't really matter. Let's check out this video. I bet this is Joe Biden telling her.
The VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border. I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the country.
See, right there, Joe Biden told Kamala Harris to lead the front on the border. She has done nothing but make it worse, and now they're trying to say it was never her responsibility. It definitely was. Axios, why it matters. The number of unaccompanied minors crossing the border has reached crisis levels. Harris, appointed by Biden as border czar, said she would be looking at the root causes that drive migration. That's Axios. That's Axios. Here, let me go to my profile real quick. We'll open that in a new tab. Check this out. We're going to scroll down my profile to, it's down here somewhere. Right here. This is the exact same thing. Why won't it let me scroll? I don't know why it won't let me scroll. All right. Anyway, Vice President Harris said Wednesday she plans to visit Mexico and Guatemala as soon as possible in a diplomatic effort to address surging migration at the U.S. Mexico border. The number of unaccompanied minors crossing the border has reached crisis levels. Harris, appointed by Biden as border czar, said she would be looking at the root causes that drive migration. I'm going to take my glasses off. I can see well enough without them. My vision's a little bit blurry, but I can still read. There's a huge glare in my glasses, and I don't really like it. I don't know how to do anything about it. Believe it or not, I'm living in a camper on a piece of property that me and my fiance bought, and the lighting is horrible, and my green screen doesn't work very well. So I'm doing my best, guys. But let's look at this. Axios, I believe yesterday, the Trump campaign and Republicans have tagged Harris repeatedly with the border czar title, which she never actually had. Now, I just showed you 3 pieces of evidence that said she was. Let's keep scrolling. Look at this.
President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
Appointed border czar.
You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
She was.
Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Let me pause that right there. Nobody asked her to look at the root causes of illegal migration. That's something she came up with on her own. Something that really wasn't necessary. We know the root cause. The border is wide open and people can just come here. Okay, this is why even I, back in 2016, 2015, even I said the border wall is stupid, it won't help. Okay, well, guess what? We have seen the footage of these millions of people coming across the border. A wall would have stopped them. Okay, and the bits of wall that were there, unguarded. The gaps in the wall were there was barbed wire and stacks of shipping containers to stop these people were removed. You could see gates being held open for people. The root cause of illegal migration is because nobody is enforcing our border and immigration policy, something that, yes, Kamala Harris was responsible for, and she failed miserably at, and now she is, God, my head hurts thinking about this, but now she is going to be appointed president. Not a single person voted for Kamala Harris. Her polls in the primaries and her primary votes, I don't think she received a single primary vote. Joe Biden picked her as VP, assuming he would get the black vote. I guess it worked. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Back then they were saying she was Indian. Now she's black. I don't know what the hell she is, and I don't really care. She's a horrible border czar, and that was her title. That was something she was appointed to do and refused to do and made substantially worse.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
She met with these countries and nothing has effectively changed. Actually, a lot changed. A lot changed. How many people are we up to that have illegally crossed the border into our country? 8 or 9 million that we know of, possibly 10, possibly up to 16, like off of the official record. Like, who actually knows? Who actually knows? What we got here? I can't read this. I don't have my glasses on. Editor's note, the article has been updated and clarified to note that Axios was among the news outlets that incorrectly labeled Harris as border czar back in 2021. That is not a correction. That is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. Kamala Harris, this is not a Mandela effect. This happened. Joe Biden appointed her to figure out why people were coming here, and it was a joke. Nobody believed she was going to do anything, and the only thing she did do was make it substantially worse. I'm getting irritated. I'm upset. What do we got here? Is this the same thing? I don't know if this is Axios. Yeah, this is Axios. This article was updated. The text, especially given to our ranking her as the most left-wing senator in 2019 based on co-sponsorship. But looking at the legislation she's introduced tells a different story. Judge for yourself. Was removed. Once the 2019-2020 session of Congress was complete, the statistics for the entire session and for Harris's entire tenure in the Senate showed a different story. What the hell is this? That's the same thing we just saw. Yep. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. Well, in fact, they are. An undocumented immigrant is an illegal alien trespassing in our country. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Crossing the American border is illegal if you do not have a passport, a visa, or something that documents your ability to be allowed to do that. That is legitimately a crime. It is a crime. We used to have ICE. We used to have border control that would keep these people out and send them back home. Instead, we're busing them all over the country. We're busing them to New York. That's been a disaster. There was some bus to Martha's Vineyard. That was hilarious. There are several being bused to my hometown right now. Okay, you can go to, I'm not going to say where I live, but you can go down to the city and you can see them walking around with backpacks and trash bags all day, every day. They're here. They came here illegally. It's absurd. It is insane. And to gaslight us by saying that she was not responsible and had nothing to do with it is insane. We cannot fall for this. It's ridiculous. We're not this stupid. This wasn't that long ago. Okay, we know better. This happened. She gave speeches on it. You remember the interview where she'd said, we've been to the border. Well, you haven't been to the border, and I've never been to Europe. What's your point? It's mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense.
All over conservative media. This is the kind of thing that is playing out all over conservative media. I just want to do a little bit of record correcting. There's not record crime right now. Number one, Harris was put in charge, as you said earlier, of combating the roots of immigration. She was not and is not the border czar.
And the Biden administration did task Vice President Kamala Harris with the issue of migrant crossings, naming her the so-called border czar.
I've asked her, the VP, today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of.
Yeah, we've already seen this. This is insane. Kamala Harris was tasked with securing the border. She did the opposite. And now, without a single vote, somehow she's going to be the Democrat nominee. There's probably going to be an open primary, and there's probably going to be riots in the street, just like there was in 1968, the last time they had an open, not an open primary, an open convention. There was an open convention in 1968. There was rioting in the streets. I don't remember the specifics of that. I just read up on it a little bit yesterday. I've got a lot on my mind right now. I'm trying to build a house. I'm about to have a kid. I'm getting married. I have way too many things to worry about. But like, I just have to get it out there that this is dumb. This is ridiculous, and we can't fall for this. This is 1984, in real time, right in front of us. The Ministry of Truth is editing what was and trying to make us think that it's something completely different. Like, this is not a Mandela effect. This is 1984 happening in real time right before our eyes. Guys, please, I'm sorry. This is a rant. I know it's a rant. I'm just pissed off. It doesn't make any sense. Why gaslight us to this extreme? I don't know. We'll figure it out, guys. I'll see you again soon.